as one started thinking about what kind of plan would work, one needs to think about a fiscal plan, but first one has to have an economic plan. It needs an economic plan for recovery. But of course, the debt restructuring is part of that. There can't be any economic recovery without recovery of debt sustainability, and there is no recovery of debt sustainability without an appropriate debt restructuring. So these are intimately tied together, and you have to solve them simultaneously. And analytically, I'll come back to that. It's not easy. But let me emphasize that restructuring is not the end of the story. Only when defaults arise as a consequence of things like accidents, like external shocks, natural disasters, will a restructuring be sufficient. Otherwise, we have to start analyzing what was the original source of the problem. The distressed economies need to transit to more dynamic structures of production, or else they have to adjust to permanently lower standards of living. One needs to have a growth strategy, think about the long run, but in the budget, there are many things that affect the real long-term prospects of the country. So if you cut education spending, university spending, you are threatening the long-term growth of the economy. A 21st century economy has to be based on learning. One of my other recent books is called Creating a Learning Society. And the point is that, we're not making simple pings like Adam Smith talked about. We went from agriculture to manufacturing, but we're going now from manufacturing to a knowledge economy. Manufacturing is only 8%, 9% of employment in the United States. Much more important are those jobs related to knowledge. And if you don't have the skills, you're going to be left behind. And that's the Rust Belt workers that we have in the United States. The big questions that Puerto Rico will need to face are, what kinds of instruments does it have to transform its structure of production? What changes in the legal framework can be implemented to give the country the necessary advantages for the developing new sectors? What are the potential new dynamic sectors? These are key issues that the local authorities, the businesses, the academic community will need to think about. But this is important. The debt restructuring is a precondition for any growth strategy. You can't grow if you are in this midst of this debt depression. And there has to be deep restructuring. The CNE created a growth commission in which I serve, and it's been focusing on understanding how do we go about creating these dynamic forces going forward, and what kinds of macroeconomic frameworks are necessary in order for those structural reforms to actually work. The chances of a successful resolution are larger when the different actors of the society, civil society, academic community, business community, press, and especially the government, are aware of the implications of following different paths, policies. I hope my talk helps to deepen your understanding of the relevant economic mechanisms that will be at play and the consequences that different policies would have for the economic and social development of your country. Thank you.